Hi YouTube, this is Mark from Abilities, and today I'm going to be demonstrating how I perform my bowel program. So one of the things I wanted to just start with is that, when I got out of the hospital, the whole idea of performing a bowel program was uncomfortable. There was not a lot of information. There were some kind of general concepts as to, if you're getting impacted, you need to be able to, get that out of your system. So there were different methods that the nurses taught my parents, and it was just extremely uncomfortable as an 18-year-old. The thought of having to deal with this and do it at home on a regular basis, it was something that I just really wasn't excited about. So at the time, when I went home, I had a caretaker for a while, and they were helping me do it. And again, it was, I was sitting in a commode chair in my room doing this, and it was just very uncomfortable. To me, it's something that's private, and I just didn't like it. So what I did was, as I was working towards my rehabilitation, I was trying my best to get strong enough and try transferring on and off of toilets, because I wanted to be able to go out into the world, when I was ready to go back to school, and be able to do this on my own if I felt like I needed to go to the bathroom. And so that's what I did. So for the first 10 years, I pretty much just went, other than that first year of having a nurse, I pretty much went when I felt like I had to go. I would say that I was somewhat successful, but there were times where, I felt very uncomfortable. I wasn't emptying out. I had a lot of accidents, things like that. And I would say I'm kind of on the fence on whether I would have done it again. But there was at some point when I talked to a few people, some individuals in chairs that were on a bowel program using a suppository, and they were very successful with it, and they loved it because they were doing it, every other day or every 3 days, and they weren't having any accidents. They weren't feeling full. It was a part of their life that they could do, in a certain part of the day, and then be done with it for a couple days. So it was an avenue that I explored about 10 years in, and I've been pretty happy with it. So today what I'm going to do is just kind of show you what I do for my bowel program, and it was something that at first I was having family members, having them help me with it, and eventually I got to a point where I could do it on my own, and that's really kind of the main point here, is I want to show you how I can independently do this bowel program. So first of all, there's a few different ways to do a bowel program. I know I say this a lot, but it depends. It depends on the person and how your body, your injury, everything's kind of set up. I'm in a complete injury, so I have some feeling of when I feel uncomfortable and when I have to go. I know individuals that would use, enemas. They might use digital stimulation. They may drink a bunch of water. They may eat certain foods, or they may just, their body regularly tells them they have to go, and they hop on and off, and it works well for them. But most people that I talk to were using suppositories. There is a suppository that's out there in the market, and it's called the Magic Bullet. This can be purchased on Amazon, can be purchased on different websites, medical websites, like Medical Supply. They're not cheap, but you can get a box of 100 from anywhere from, I want to say, like $50 or $60. You can see it go as high as $100, but if you search around, you can find it, and these are great. So I'll just open the box. It's going to come filled with a bunch of these, five at a pop, and they're awesome. They work really well. For me, I'm on an every other day bowel program, so that means 200 days out of the year I'm good. So, a little less than 2 boxes a year at $50, $60. That's not too bad to be able to control this aspect of your injury, to keep it under wraps. So yeah, that's the Magic Bullet. This is something that I really like. Now, one of the common complaints about suppositories is they come in these really nasty, packages. They're sealed, they're hard to get out. If you're a quad, and you don't have a lot of hand movement, well, that could be a problem. So there's a couple different ways of going about this. One of the things that I used to do when I first used these is I would have someone open them for me and just put them in a bag, and I would put them in the fridge. I don't think I've seen it on the box. I don't think there's an issue with having these be at a temperature or whatever the refrigeration temperature would be. And it's also a nice thing because these will melt if you have them at room temperature, so you need to use them fast. So having it kind of cold and then putting it, taking it out and using it, it's probably a good thing, but I'm not 100% sure. The rest of the setup is going to include a few items which I'm going to show you right now. If you watched my video on intermittent catheterization, you probably remember this blue square. This comes from my closed system, and it works really well for what I'm about to show you. This particular pad, what I do is I open it up, and this is where I'm going to put lubricant. So I'm just going to put this on the bed for right now just so you can get an idea. So these lubricant, the lubricant that I use is called Surgilube. This, again, you can get this off of Amazon. They're a few dollars a bottle. You can buy, there's different people selling it, three packs, 5 packs for a discount. But this works really great for the Bowel program. I know they have little packets, but again, one other thing you have to open. I don't think you want to do that if you can avoid it. So I buy these. And the idea is when I squirt the lube onto this pad, that is really for the suppository insert. So this is the next item. You can find this on, again, a number of medical supply websites. I don't think I've seen it on Amazon. But this is the essential tool if you want to do it independently, at least for me and someone at my level. What this is basically, if you're familiar with some of these gripping aids or things that you can use to hold utensils, it looks very similar. So what you're doing is you're putting this on your hand, and you're folding it over. So instead of a fork or a spoon, you have essentially this little inserter. And what it is, it's kind of a spring-loaded plastic piece that has, it's hollow inside here. And it has just enough room to fit the suppository. So as you push on this spring, so this plastic part right here, this is what's going to stop once you have this inside your rectum at a certain point. Once it gets there, and you're pushing, slowly of course, so not to hurt yourself, when you push it in, it's going to, see this little plastic piece that's coming up through the center, that's going to force the suppository into your rectum. And it's essentially the same thing as someone using their finger and putting it up there for you. This is a great tool. I can say that you can see it swinging a little bit. It's not entirely designed the way that I would like, but it does work well, and I'll show you, kind of demonstrate how I would do it. But this is the other piece of the puzzle that you need to buy. These are not cheap. I want to say that I paid probably $75 for this. There's not a lot of companies selling it. Unfortunately, that's kind of the deal. But, if you clean it, take care of it, you should be able to keep it for many years. So that's what this is. All right. Now, the one other thing is I always bring a little bit of toilet paper. It could be a tissue or another type of item to wipe. Once the lube is on this square, it gets a little messy. But after you insert, you're going to have a little bit of lube probably on your body. I always bring this just to wipe in case, because I'm going to go from here back into my chair and then directly to the bathroom, to the toilet. Because these suppositories work very fast, at least for me. Within 5 minutes, I need to be in there near the toilet. So I always just bring a little bit extra, clean myself up so I can pull up my underwear and get back in my chair and back into the bathroom. Okay, now let's look at these guys, because this is another part that's going to be a little bit of a pain, and you have to work around this. You got to figure out what works best for you. So for me, what I do is, they're all kind of attached together. I separate one from the pack a little bit. So I just kind of bite it, kind of break it off a little bit. So once you separate from the pack, at the very top, the plastic actually comes together, and you can fold it back so it opens up, and you'll have 2 sides to work with. So what I do is I just kind of run my fingers along this top piece and bend these back a little bit. And what it does is it kind of forms this little V. Now, I've seen people take pliers, put one side in their mouth, take pliers and pull it away. I typically, I'm fortunate to be able to use just my thumbs to do it and bite. So that's what I'm going to do right now to show you how I would do it. So I get those together like that, and So I didn't drop this on the floor, but I'm able to get it out that way. That took me a while to do. I probably could make my life a lot easier and try the pliers or something else, but I, for whatever reason, continue to do it this way. But yeah, that's how I would get it out. So once you pull that apart, you've got the suppository. You're going to take the inserter. You're going to stick this right at the top. Just kind of fit it in there. You don't have to push down hard. So that suppository is going to sit right up there in the top. And at this point, we're going to transfer onto the bed, and I'm going to show you how I would get to the point where I can insert it. All right, so I'm going to lay this down on the square. I would have already had lubricant on this blue pad because I do not want to have to squirt it while I'm laying down. One less thing to make my life difficult. So I'm going to put this stuff back here. Get comfortable here on the bed. All right, so I'm just going to lock in here. What I'm doing is I'm just going to transfer in to the bed, and I'm going to get onto my side. In order to do this, I just need to first get onto the bed, and I'll show you how to get my legs up. I'm just going to go ahead and pivot over. Best I can here. Now when I put my legs up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my feet kind of on the corner of the chair here. And that's just going to allow my legs to stay bent in case as I'm moving around, I might have a spasm or something. It's just so my legs don't move out of position. So I'll put my leg up on the foot plate. Just make sure I'm comfortable here. Back up a little bit. Alright, now, this part may be a little bit tricky for some, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of rock myself back, get my legs to where I can get them up, kind of use gravity a little bit for this one. So I'll grab the one leg, and then I'll grab the other. I'll readjust my hand here. Okay. So as I do this, what I'm going to try and do is put my right leg on my chair. And by doing that, I'll just lay it down right there in the front, and then I'll kind of just lay my other leg right next to it. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to get myself on my side here so that I can, have access to my butt, so where I can, use the suppository inserter. Now the one thing that I don't have here, and that's because I have a full-length mirror here on the other side of my bed and I can see, is a mirror, like a handheld mirror. So if you're doing this and say you're at a hotel or you're somewhere where you don't have a mirror in your closet or access to a mirror, I would just bring a little handheld one. This is going to be handy for those that don't have sensation or feeling. I have sensation, but I still like to be able to see what I'm doing and how I'm positioning the inserter, so that way I'm not hurting myself. It's a very handy tool. Okay, so as I'm here, I would have put the KY jelly already on the towelette, and at this point, what I'm going to do, so I kind of got my body in a good position. I'm going to probably scoot up a little bit here, just a little bit, so I have a little bit better position. Now I would have my pants down. Now I'm going to take the inserter, which has the suppository in it. I would dip it down into the lube. Probably actually put this on first. So put this on my hand. I put my thumb around so that way I can turn it like this. So I'll go ahead and I'll just scoop up some of the lubricant. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get myself in the best position possible. And as I'm doing this, with the mirror I can see where I'm going to be inserting it. So I'll take this and I want to put it at the best possible angle. And as I get it down, this way I can see as I'm putting it in. And when I put it in, I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to go slowly first until I can see that it's actually going in. And once I get to a point where I know it's going in, I'll go right to the point where it's going to slide up. And you can see how that popped out. Once you get to the spring and you're pushing up against the outside of your rectum, it's going to push the suppository in. So once that's in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take toilet paper, make sure I clean off any excess lubricant that's on there. I will leave these items here on the bed. I'm going to pull up my underwear, pants to a certain degree. If I'm going to be transferring to the toilet, I don't need to do all that. But what I do is I kind of lay back down on this leg, grab the other one, and this is actually not too bad because it's going to, gravity is going to allow me to get my legs down. So as I go like this, just have the legs pop down to where I can put my feet in the position I need. I'm going to go ahead and just transfer on over, back into the chair. And at this point, I will go ahead and take the items on the bed, go ahead and throw them away, clean them off, and I'm going to head on over to the toilet for the next part. Alright, so now that I have the suppository in, I have a small window of time. So what I do is I head on into my bathroom. At this point, what I'm going to do is just get really close to my toilet and lock up. So I'm going to just be directly transferring to the toilet where I know some of you may be using like a shower commode that has a hole in it where they can roll over the toilet. Maybe you're doing it in a separate chair with a bucket. There's many ways to do it, whatever works best for you. But I like going directly on the toilet just because I have sensation. With this seat, I'm not damaging, the skin around my ischium. It feels comfortable. I can sit here for an extended period of time. So that's what I use. Now, if you have a low toilet seat, it would be easy to transfer onto it, right? And if that's the case, then your knees might be a little bit up high, and that's more comfortable. Your knees being higher than your waist is going to give you some balance if you have balance issues, like I do at my level. Now, it just so happens that this toilet seat's more like an ADA height, around like 18, 19 inches, and that puts my legs very level. Then I'm at risk for spasms, things like that. It's easier to transfer with that on and off, but I do try to accommodate once I'm on to counteract that and lift my legs up, and I'll show you how. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and transfer over. I got a bar on this side, so I just kind of scoot out, and I, just kind of scoot on over, get onto it. Now once I'm on, typically what I'll do is I'll just move my chair out of the way here, just so that I have some room. I have my shower bench here, which is nice. So this is a little bit of extra support if I need it, but this is movable, so I have them on both sides, which is really great. I'm going to go ahead and move my chair over a little bit here, some more, to create some more space for my legs. And the reason why is because I have this little footstool here. I have two young boys, and they both have footstools, but I like to use this because that allows me to put my knees up to get that balance that I need if I'm going to sit here for an extended period of time. You also might have seen a product out there called the Quadriplegic, and basically it's mimicking what's done in Asia, where they don't have raised toilets in a lot of places. It's really a hole in the ground with a seat. And the idea is that if your knees are up really high as you're going to the bathroom, there's this band that goes around your, I believe, your colon or rectum or something that when you're in that position, it relaxes and it allows you to go to the bathroom a lot easier. So the same idea would apply here. It's going to give you balance. You'll probably have a better, more productive bowel program where you're not spending as much time on the chair as you need to be. So I'll just show you how I do this. So I pull this guy out, I flip it over. Now, you can't really see it, I guess, it's on the camera, but I lift my legs up and put it on this footstool. And again, the idea being that I have my knees up to give me a better support and angle. So this way I can kind of get comfortable with my knees like this, so that way I'm not killing myself on here. I'll do this for a little while, and then I'll actually take my feet off and do it in a different position, because that changing position will help with the bowel program as well. But that's about it. Once I'm on here doing my thing, I'll probably, once I'm on the toilet, it may take anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on the case. But I'll be on here and I might rub on my stomach or lean forward a little bit more if you can do that. Whatever works best for you. But these suppositories work really, really well, and that's why I've been using them for the last 10 plus years, because they're just very effective, and allows me to do what I need to do and get on with my life. So one of the things that I like to do once I'm, done, or feel like I'm done, I will remove my legs from the step stool, and I'll put that back in the corner. I will bring my wheelchair back, and just so you know, because you might have questions, but in terms of wiping, what I do, I tend to fold this up, and I will just wedge it in my hand. That way I have this side of it. In order to get to the place where I need to wipe, what I'll do is I'll actually put my elbow down here, and I'll lean. And I'll just pick up this leg, and this will allow me to wipe. Kind of the same idea with leaning over on the side and doing the inserter. It's the same type of idea. If you have wrist extensions weak on this side, my suggestion is find a way to put the toilet paper in a way that you can kind of use the gravity as you're going down to where you can wipe. I would just try a couple different things and see what works. But that's what I would do. I'll do that, and this also allows me to put my underwear in this position, and then I can kind of lean over and get this side too with the grab bar. So then when I'm finished, got my underwear up, I'll probably leave my pants down. I'll just go ahead and transfer back in the chair. Now for this transfer, it's a little bit of ways, a little bit away from the seat. It's a little bit harder, but what I'm going to do is lick my palms, grab the toilet seat, and kind of come out as far as I can on the edge, and then I'm going to lean on this and pivot over. And that's that. I'll just get back comfortably in my chair. And I'm done. Now, the only kind of caveat that I want to say with using those particular suppositories is that depending on how much of it you use, I typically use the whole thing. I don't cut it or try to do that because it might make it harder with the inserter to get it out, get it in, and do all that. But you may notice that in the morning, and I always do this, depending on when you do your bowel program, I do mine at night. I always go back on the toilet in the morning just because it's bisacodyl is the active ingredient in the suppository, the magic bullet. It kind of it upsets the lining of your, I guess you'd say your rectum or your bowel. And you may get a little bit of mucusy stuff that could come out in your pants if you're not careful. So if you do it at night, like I do, and in the morning, just sit on the toilet for a couple minutes and see if anything comes out. But it has kind of a foul odor, so I recommend at least trying to see if that happens, because you don't want to have that happen later when you're in your car or heading somewhere to your job or something like that. That's the only thing that I wanted to say about that. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Hopefully this was helpful. Appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. If you have any comments or questions, something that you didn't see or something personal that you want to send, you can leave the comments below, or you can email me at abilities@gmail.com. We are on Instagram and Twitter, so please follow us on both. And if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to the Abilities channel. I'm going to continue to put more videos out there as time permits, and if there's anything that you particularly want to see, again, send me an email, write it down in the comments, let me know, and I'll try to get something out if I can. If I can't, then I'll look to someone that maybe they could share some ideas as well. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for joining me, and please continue to work hard towards your independence, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks, guys.